dollhouses, but making things to be in the dollhouses, and that was my happy place. No matter what else was going on, if I wasn't in church, reading the Bible, doing studies, helping my mom bake, I was making miniatures. And I had two older sisters who were brats, and who kind of made fun of me about the miniature thing. They're like, aren't you a little old to be playing with miniatures? And I was 12, and they thought by then I'd grow out of it, but I hadn't. And I was 14, and I hadn't grown out of it. I was 16, and I hadn't grown out of it. So when I knew that I wanted art to be the focus of my career, I told my mother I wanted to go to a specialized high school and learn, not necessarily just miniatures, but learn how to be a better artist. And I applied to a bunch of schools in New York and made it to several schools, and ended up going to the High School of Art and Design in New York City, which is still around. And during that time, I thought, I want to get a degree. So Parsons is where I applied, and I got into Parsons. And that was incredible. And I was talking with a young lady who was here with her dad, and she said she's interested in design and she loves math, so she wants to be an architect. And I said, yeah, the loving math part was never my jam. And yes, I do math, but I don't do that kind of math. So I was like, nope, I want to stick to small because it is accessible, it's tangible, and I love it. The idea of the galleries came to me shortly before the pandemic. Adrian and I were talking about taking his galleries on the road because he was being sought after by, at one time, it was 6 different institutions in the country that wanted to do a show of his work because he was really emerging. So Adrian Octavius Walker.
Yeah, I put his picture up.
Oh, so that's his miniature artwork in the gallery.
So the photos and and a lot of the galleries are actually his work. So he's a good friend of mine, and he's an incredible storyteller, activist, and just visually, he's really an incredible person. I think he's very gifted. So we were talking about the idea of having his shows move. And he said, Morgan, who's his wife, Morgan said, just get Tammy to make a miniature gallery. And we laughed because it was actually Morgan's idea. And I said, we're gonna have to eventually tell somebody that it was Morgan's idea. Because everybody thinks it was my idea or his idea. It was his wife's idea. So we were just starting to think about how it would be able to move. And as you know, Vita, the projects are substantial, but they're lightweight.
They are lightweight, yes.
Because the base tends to be foam core or soft woods. So it's not a heavy project, even though it looks very heavy. So we were thinking through, how would you pack it up? And let's say you wanted to send it to different libraries, museums, or institutions in the country. What would be the process? So we were literally talking about that when the pandemic hit. And then he said, well, I don't think anybody wants to touch anything. So we need to just put this idea on the shelf. And I said I would, but little did he know that I was already starting to build it. In my mind, I'm like, I can see it. I know what it looks like. So a few months later, I told him that I had built it, and I sent him some pictures, and he lost his mind. And we actually did an Instagram thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of Crenshaw Dairy Mart. But they are basically an artist compound for Black artists, and they're on the East Coast. And he actually reached out to them, and they said, you guys should do an Instagram live, so we did. And that's when I started getting my work out more in a big way, and that led to more opportunities. And I was telling Vita the story the other day that Adrian had, We Matter is a show of his that is very prolific. It's been in London, it's been like all over the world, and it's basically the celebration of the Black man and trying to help people understand that a do-rag is simply a fashion statement. It doesn't make you a thug, it doesn't make you dangerous, it's simply a choice in fashion for Black men, for doing your hair. So he has this exhibition called We Matter, and I did it in miniature, and a friend of his was looking on Adrian's Instagram, and he saw I don't know if there's gonna be a way for us to show that during the show, during the exhibition.
Yeah, we'll see.
But he saw this miniature tour, because I would sometimes do a tour of the miniature, and he said, when did you have a show in New York recently? And Adrian's like, that's a miniature. And he's like, what? It's a miniature. So he ended up getting us in touch with Google, and I did Martin Luther King Jr. gallery for them a couple years ago.
Amazing.
But it's just been really fun, and I think the big part for me is, I love miniatures, and for me that's community, but when other people can connect with it, then I'm doing something that it matters, and it's about the connection. So taking the work of an artist, whether it's a photographer, in the next couple of years I want to move into visual artists that are not just photographers, but to take that and put it into a small scale. And people love miniatures. We talked about it. People love it. It's something about it that lightens your heart, and you have that moment of looking at something like, oh my goodness, did you see that? I was watching her do that yesterday as we were, it's like, oh my God, look at that, the meters, oh my God. Like you see the stuff and it gets you really excited. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I've seen children do it, I've seen people in their 80s do it. So that is really wonderful that I get to be part of that experience, to bring that to people. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm excited that this is the place where I have my first solo show. And I'm so grateful to be here.
Thank you for seeing
Yes.
vision
Yes.
and bringing Tammy here. I know when you shared it with me and then I said, what's her name? I'm on my phone, what? And I
Yeah,
said, what?
she was
And I
blown
like-
away,
I was
yeah.
like, oh my God, oh my God. Leah, this is, what? And I'm looking and I'm like, oh my God, look at that. There's the shaving comb right there. There's the this, the little tiny things. Like, how'd she get them so small?
And you know who else Googled it? OPM director,
Jamie Turban.
Jamie Turban. She Googled you and she said, Vita, this is amazing. This is gonna be an amazing exhibition. Yeah, I think she shared that with, Mr. Emerson. But the fact is that, what I'm trying, and ladies, this is all for you.
Oh, it does say, may I have one? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, well, yeah, sure. Anybody, help yourself. What we wanna do is we want Tammy to take us through the galleries and, kinda, you're gonna see a lot, but she can vouch for this. Yesterday when I came up, and I just came up to say hello, she was actually putting together the salon. There is so much to see that every time I walked away, I came back. And she looked at me and she thought I was going downstairs. I turned around, I said, no, I didn't see that. I said, did you just put that in there? She says, no, Vita, no, this is what I'm putting in here now. I said, well, I was just like so intrigued. And you want to see that each everything that's in it, she's so much of a detailed person. Even when you see the trash can, this little miniature trash can actually has trash in it. And you can see that. And that's what it's just so wonderful and beautiful. And you know what? And Karen was up there hugging, trying to hug the gallery, so she could shrink herself, so she could walk in the front door. So I want her to kind of take us through it and kind of talk about the galleries. Okay. Okay. Are you ready for that? Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do
Where
it.
do you
Let's do
live
it.
now?
I live in Concord, California with my family.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's also, well, I don't want to, I'll let her do the talking.
Well, share, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying that the structure of the galleries, being a curator myself, she captured, because when you go into a gallery, you need to have a title wall. So I'm looking at, and you can vouch for that, I think that's it. You got a title wall in here, a miniature title wall. And she has the gallery benches in there, and the signage is there. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this is just so amazing. I'm enjoying my own work, creating, curating with her. It's just a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's something that I haven't done before too. So I'm having a really wonderful time. Yeah.
Yes,
What's so amazing, it looks like each piece is individual.
It is.
yeah,
And that's what was so amazing to me, as opposed to being like mass produced or an actual original art piece.
Oh, yeah, no,
I mean, it's like, so I'm just sharing, for me, that's what drew me in, because Patty shared too. I was at Patty's event earlier today, and she showed me on the computer some of your images on your website, and I was like, wow, and I said, wait a minute, these are miniature items, like, I can tell, and you had, I think, a chair in your hand. I was like, wait a minute, she's holding a chair. So that's what drew me, and I was like, oh, she's creating these pieces, and I was like, how does she do these miniature pieces?
She's got
It's
magazines.
very, very impressive to me.
Real magazines that she
Calm down.
She's done these real magazines. So when you go in the salon or when you go in and even galleries, you see some magazines or something. So you're sitting down, trying to get your hair done, whatever. You pick up a magazine. She's got that in there, and it's just like, I could go on and on forever, so, I want her to really just go through it, and I appreciate all of you just really, hey, Belvedere, come on in, sit down here. Listen to these ladies talk about the galleries here. They're like so intrigued with this. Yeah, so it is, so Tammy, I want to know with your galleries, they're fragile, and you might think that they're heavy, but they're not that heavy, okay? And because of the way that you designed them, they seem to be very secure too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's interesting because I was invited, I don't know if any of you know of Art Basel in Miami. So it's a big it's one of the biggest art gatherings in the country. It happens every year in June, usually, like summer, and then the end of the year in December. And it tends to attract somewhere between 250 and 300,000 people, extra people that don't live in Miami that are coming there from all over the world. And there's a new show, and I don't watch these kinds of shows, but it's this Black family drama about a family that has a beauty empire, and Amazon premiered the show, and they wanted to have artists who were contributing pieces that spoke to the Black beauty movement. So they actually rented Obasama, the first big gallery that you see over there, and I had to send it to Miami and disassemble it and reassemble it. And the interesting thing was, they didn't get it right in terms of how to display it. So the first day, because Art Basel lasts 4 days. The first day, they just had them on these stands, and they said, we apologize that the stands that they were meant to be in didn't come yet, and we just have them on these tables, and we're just gonna have stanchion poles so people don't try to touch them. And we'll keep a security guard there, so don't worry, they're going to be safe, and they were. Well, that was great, but then the next day, they hiked them up on these beautiful stands, and I have photos, and the stands were gorgeous, but the pieces were too tall for people to actually be able to see inside
Because you gotta
of them.
see inside.
And in order to appreciate the pieces, you actually have to see inside. So if you have it just at eye level, you're missing most of it. Because you can't see, like Obasama to me is the perfect example of the ridiculous amount of detail that's in there that you will only see if you're looking into it. If you're looking at the front of it, it's not just a facade, you sort of miss that. So I think that there's this sort of desire to treat it like traditional art, but it's not traditional art. You kind of have to get on top of it and close to it to really be able to interact with it.
Because in imagination, you begin to feel
Yeah.
like you
You're
can shrink
in there.
yourself.
Well, that, when
Yeah.
I heard one of you say that, and I almost cried, because that's the experience I want people to have.
Yeah.
When someone says, I've had people say to me, there are no people in your miniatures. I'm like, you are the people in my miniatures.
Yeah.
I want you to have that moment of,
Yeah.
like you said, you imagine walking through the door.
Walking through the door.
That's
We
what
had
it's
to
supposed
hold
to
it
be.
down.
I had to hold her back, because she was looking down on it, and she was saying, oh, I just need to get,
You want to get in it, and that's
She
the
does,
idea.
yeah, and I said, Karen. Oh, okay, I'm back.
Your work is so exquisite because everything is to scale.
Oh, right, I really struggle to make sure it
Yeah.
is, right?
When you look at it, it's so real.
It's so real, yeah.
And it's easy to lose yourself because nothing is out of place
Oh,
as
thank
far
you.
as the sizing, which is, really, I just found that.
She's an artist.
Because I'm into that
Right.
miniature and dollhouses, and several of our doll ladies do the miniature, so they're gonna just lose it
Oh.
when they come.
Well, that's
But,
wonderful.
I really am so impressed
Thank you.
with the
Thank you very
top
much,
quality
Karen.
of it.
And I spend a lot of time thinking about the scale of things, because you can buy, so I work in 1/12 scale, which is
Yes.
half Barbie scale, Barbie's 1/6, and twice architectural scale, architect is 1/4. And my scale, a lot of things say that they're that scale, but they're too big. So I obsess about getting the sizes
Ooh, I
right.
love that.
And if I can't find someone that makes it, I make it. And if I can't find the way to make it to the quality that I want, I find an engineer who will help me design it and then print it in 3D. And I spend, Vita asked me, looking at Obasama, she said, how much time did it take? I said, about 200 hours, maybe more, because every photo on the little mirrors, those are women I know that said, send me 30 photos that you love if you get your hair, like when your hair was done. I meticulously found each photo, shrank them down, cut them out, stuck them to the mirror. Everything is a labor of love.
And that's why when you're looking down, you can, when you look down, you'll be able to see them when you're looking down on it. And it is just, it's just totally just unbelievable. And it goes in with the magazines and then the sweeper. I even saw Bomadelli, he likes everything go clean. I saw him with the sweeper. Bomadelli, you're gonna see a sweeper in there, that little sweeper. Bomadelli's like chief curator, everybody. Yeah.
And I get a
So-
Swifter, just a broom.
yeah, but she has it in that gallery, and the sweep of the stand, and you got the little, that one, you know, with the stand on it?
That's what the hairstylist did.
Right, that's right.
Yes,
That's what they have in their
That's
salon.
right.
That's what I was too.
So I did so much research,
Oh my
ladies and
God.
gentlemen. I did so much research, not just photos, but talking with people about what that experience is like. I visited a few hair salons. I wanted to know, and I wanted that messy, overly ridiculously busy, so much stuff is everywhere, but that's where people go because that's the best place to get your hair done. So that's what I
tell me
wanted that to
something.
be.
This one thing that every beauty salon I've ever gone to, there's somebody coming through selling something.
Well, I didn't do that part. I left that out.
You want people to imagine themselves in your hands and
Yeah.
Something with
That's
the
funny.
big man,
Right, oh, I
fish
know,
man,
I know.
got
Always,
somebody
yeah.
with clothes.
Right, yeah,
Takes
jewelry.
us right back to our childhood, that's how it
Coming
was
through,
right
you know.
I think one of my favorite moments yesterday, I keep saying yesterday, but I think it was Thursday, right, Vita, when we were setting up,
Yes,
that I looked at a spot, remember, and I said, something's missing.
yes.
And Vita looked at me and she's like, there are hundreds of things in there. How do you know something's missing? And I said, because I know it. So I'm like, yeah, where is that? And then at one point I was doing something, okay, there it is, it's on the floor. And it literally was a Post-it note that's in scale and a tiny pencil. And Vita just looked at me and I picked it up, I said, there it is. And I put it
The
down.
pencil is this large, and the pencil had fallen under the miniature carpet that's in the gallery at the salon. And she sees it, and she holds it up to me, and I need a magnifying glass. She said, "You see the pencil? I told you there was something missing." I said, "Okay, I got it.
Wow.
But I've never seen anything like this before. And I've seen dollhouses. I don't associate this with a dollhouse.
This is
Dollhouses are
like
cute.
dollhouse.
They're cute. This is far be past cuteness. And now we're talking about Black culture. You're talking about, and that takes it up even more of a notch. And you're talking about 4 Black photographers. Several of them were in Ghana and came back, and that's reflected in the gallery as well. She captures that, their trip, and the images that she struck them down to fit in these galleries. So the whole concept, not only do you see something that is spectacular, you're getting educated. Because now you're gonna talk about 4 photographers that probably you may have heard of, but perhaps you have not. So she is educating us and entertaining us at the same time. And that's what we do here at AMLO. I've always said that. Yeah, always said that. So I really, it's just a pleasure to just work with you, and she's very, I'll tell you this, she's very particular now. And
I can tell. That's I can tell.
yeah, because I wanted some sketches. I asked, when you're curating an exhibit, the curator has a vision the way that they see it. But when you're working with the artist, you gotta work with the artist too. And the artist has to understand that you're working with the curator. So there's a lot of times you might bump heads, but Tammy and I don't bump heads. Because I respect her expertise. When she tells, and she respects mine. But if she says that this gallery needs to be placed like this, what am I can't say, well, no, you can't place it like that. I want you to feel secure with them being here, And when all of you, I saw your faces when you walked up here and saw them. It is a work for art, and we are, even the OPL director, Jamie Turbeck, hope maybe you'll get to meet her,
I hope so.
okay? She even emailed and said, I Googled Tammy Knight. The miniature gallery is just so beautiful. It's gonna be a wonderful exhibit, so here we are. We're so glad that I can introduce you to the board.
Yes, and I wanna look at the comments too, because it's kind of like you are teleporting yourself into that space and time. And when I did look at it online, you know, to see, and I was like, oh my God, I thought it was an actual gallery.
Right, life-size
Like
museum.
life-size gallery. And I was like, oh, I wanna go, you know, like, oh, my brain was saying that. Then I said, wait a minute, you know, this is, how she do this, how she do it? But to, feel like, that feeling you get, to feel like you are being, beam me up,
Right,
you
exactly,
know,
yeah.
beam me up to be in this space. It's just amazing.
Oh,
And then I just can't imagine the feeling that the young folks are gonna get
Oh
from
my
it,
gosh.
to come and see this exhibit,
Yeah.
you know? And then us too, the elders in our community, because it brings back memories.
Right,
and
yeah.
reflection back
I think
into
it
our-
does, I think
our
it does.
connection, yeah, and sharing it with, our experience there with folks who never had it. So I thank you for it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank
And
you for your kind words.
I really appreciate what Vita said about this institution as being a way of educating. And I just can imagine when young people come through, and people my age and older, come through and they're learning about these artists' work in miniature and
Yeah.
about how you did it, and just losing themselves
In it, right?
in
Just
it.
get lost in
It's
it.
just all, it's a whole new way of learning,
Yeah.
and being educated and fascinated at the same time, and saying, I can do this, you know.
Yeah.
It's just gonna open a world of possibilities for young people and just make all imagination soar, and I really appreciate it.
Well, Claudia and Karen, thank you. Thank you for your
Yes,
kind
and,
words.
and I wanna add one last thing, I promise. Because I'm so excited for you and for us here at AMLO to be able to present your work. But it's almost like, to me, when I'm gardening, I'm in that space, I'm in that setting, and I don't think about
Anything else?
I'm just like, I'm
Lost in it,
flowing
right?
with, I'm flowing with whatever this gardening is giving me, the sense, the visual, all of that, my five senses, and then I'm like, I may need to go someplace, but I don't care about that. I'm right here, or I may be worried about something. Put that aside, I'm here. So that will, I believe, will allow that for others to experience with your galleries.
Thank you.
You can understand what I'm
I
saying?
absolutely can. No, I think so.
Good. And you know, I came up with the title, which I didn't know she was gonna love it or not. She says, Vita, what is the title of the case?
The gallery's opening in 3 weeks. What's the title?
I said, oh, that. Okay, so I said, Black culture, the art of photography in miniature galleries. And she sent me back this big heart. I love it, I love it. And I said, I was at home at the time, and I yelled out, yeah, she loves it. So, they're artists here. So you can understand, Vanessa, artist, you can understand it. You saw
We
some of
talked
it.
about it when I first came through the door. I told her she had to come. I said, you gotta come, you gotta come. It's
So
your
what do you
birthday,
think
but
when you
gotta
came
make time
in?
to come.
So
On
thank
the
you for coming
birthday.
on your birthday, Vanessa. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. And so what did you think when you just first walked in and just saw it?
Oh, I was thinking through my mind how it's done, and I, was talking about how being little, getting clothes or sheets and cutting them up and everything. She's experiencing that, so I'm experiencing what she did, but absolutely amazing. Yes, I felt like I could be right there, sitting back, just watching everything going on and seeing people doing this and doing that. Yes, I'm there.
Yeah. I think, Randy, and then several of you haven't really seen the galleries. I don't think Mama Deli has really seen them. Janet, you kind of saw them. What was your first impression?
Oh, I mean, I was
When you walked
impressed
in.
with, I got kind of, you can say like a sneak preview, because earlier I was at Claudia's workshop, so she showed me on the computer. I went from your
For the
website.
website.
So I was impressed. I was like, wow, these look detachable, and they're like, but they're so small. And then the image of her or someone's hand holding the object, I was like, these are amazingly small. Like, how do you sculpture? How do you craft something that tiny? And I was just amazed. So when I came in, it was just like, to see it in real life is just breathtaking. It definitely, it's important to see it in person.
Yes.
Because it's a whole different
Different
feeling
experience.
than what I felt when I looked at it from your website. And, you know, like I said, it wasn't that much of a difference of a time lapse, because it was early this afternoon, and now I'm here, so it was like, but a whole different, you know, really evoking the emotions about, you know, just quickly, like, putting myself in that space, really being able to experience that and bringing up these different, pleasurable memories. That's what it was brought for me.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
wonderful.
so,
I love that.
Yeah, and I know Karen, you saw it, but Randy hasn't seen it, and, yeah. Our newest member, she hasn't seen him yet, so we're gonna.
Let's do it.
I wanna say this, Bobby Dilly, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say thank you so very much, because most for many museums do not have exhibitions of miniature galleries, and so this is unique, and so it's unique for AMLO, and so that's one thing. The other thing I want to say, I appreciate you lifting up the artists, the photographers.
Thank you, sir.
And so that's a learning mechanism for each one of us, acquainting us with some that we knew, some that we may need to learn about. The other thing that I want to say, thank you for being a storyteller
Yes, yes.
and allowing us to envision, remember stories as well. And so the storytelling function, I think, is a very important one, and one we should not lose sight of. And I just want to thank you for the experience.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you
Very
much.
well said. You're absolutely right. There are a lot of museums that won't tackle this. There are several that mentioned early on that Tammy reached out to that didn't want to tackle it. However, with this exhibit, you're gonna find, you're seeing the making of it. When it's completed, you will see there's signage there, so you will get more information on the photographer, that she is featured in the galleries. You'll also get more information on her and her process. So they're on easels, those images are easels. This is not the way the exhibit's gonna look. This is only for you, okay? This is a very special time. We've never really done this. And so I wanted the board and the board's members and friends to just really get up close with Tammy and listen to her and feel what she's feeling. And all of you, I appreciate it. So,
We appreciate you too, Peter. Hats off to you for knowing that this could work here at Amwell. And really opening the door for so many to enjoy this experience, so.
I sure hope so. You know, she didn't want to give me no images. She's tough, you know? You know, we get along fine, but she's a, wait a minute here.
No,
Wait,
to be fair,
no,
to be fair,
tell the truth,
I didn't
tell the
know,
truth.
I'll tell the truth, it wasn't that I said no, but she said, well, I want sketches, and I said, I don't feel sure my sketches, I don't have a lot of them, to be honest, and the ones I have are really close to the vessels, they're just for me. And sometimes literally people will say, well, what's your process? And I joke, I laugh, I said, you're not gonna like my process. No, what's your process? Well, I picture something. In my head, I actually work it out, and then I start building it, and as I build it, I change it to make it look like what I want. I don't sit there, draw it, get the scale right, and then start building it. I literally build it. So I have like 30 sketches, and you have 6 of them. So I don't sketch.
And you know what? And I said, you know what? She gave me 6 to this, and I was very grateful for that. So you're gonna see that in this exhibit case, you're gonna see some of her sketches, and
One of those sketches is very old. When I say
so
very
you'll
old,
be,
I mean,
yeah, so
it's like,
we're
it's
just
like
gonna walk
4
around.
years old.
Yeah, we're gonna walk around, you'll see the sketches. On the other side, I asked her for some tools, and she's got
A lot of.
a lot of tools, and you'll see, I put a few tools out for now. When the exhibition opens, you'll see more tools. She's got different kind of sliding scales that she uses. She's got different kind of brushes and things like that. A lot of tools, but I wanted you to get the feel of what it takes to really put this together. And hours, and just that one gallery takes her all, pretty close to, I think 200 hours or over, just to put everything inside. Because most of it is not attached, it's not glued to it. So she individually puts them in place. So if you see like the pencil is actually a real pencil, just very tiny. And the pencil has to go in a certain place. The trash can, you know, when you're getting your hair done, you know, you got coffee machines and things. You got a vending machine in there, right? Okay? All right, so you gotta get your coffee, you look in the trash can, there's a little cup in the trash can.
And it's like, is that a little cup of coffee in the trash can? Like, yes, it's a cup of coffee.
So you just gotta see it. So let's walk around and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a treasure hunt. You can give people a piece of paper and say, identify, find where these
That's
items
a cool
are.
idea.
Yeah, and as you can see, she put sketches on Post-its and just, and these right here, whatever paper she says she finds, if it comes to, in her mind, she grabs whatever she gets. Look, you can get
Those are some beautiful sketches.
Isn't that something?
And I love the graph paper, the way she just has it. She's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Extremely. That's amazing.
It's just totally amazing. And you can see.
She's like an architect.
Yeah, she's like an architect.
Yeah, and it's like it's,
designer. And
yeah, it's like, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm looking at it, it's like she's, that's the first thing that went to me was like an architect.
yeah.
Can you, come a little closer?
I had to put my glasses
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Get what you
yeah,
call
get a
that
little
class.
closer.
So these are the sketches.
These are the sketches of some of the galleries, how she's, you see, she's very detailed in that.
You draw it. Has to be the scale.
I did. So Parsons is it's really wonderful. Your first year, we joke that they're trying to make you or break you. They want you to understand that being an artist is really hard. So not only do you have rigorous studies and homework and labs and art, like art history, which I'm a double major. I'm a graphic design and illustration major and an art history minor. I wanted to be the curator of a museum, and I was told, well, my maiden name is McKinnon. Well, Miss McKinnon, the truth is that there are very few black curators and even fewer female curators, so you should think of a plan B, which is too bad, because I did do plan B, which is not to be a curator. But my second cousin is the secretary of the Smithsonian Museum. So Lonnie Bunch III is actually my mother's cousin, so he's actually my third cousin. And when I told him that story, he almost cried, and he said, well, I wish you'd called me. And I said, I didn't even know about you. I didn't know I could call you and have you tell me be a curator, but yeah. But what's fun is I get to curate in miniature. That's kind of what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing, yeah.
And I should tell you that in line with your cousin, because your cousin was involved in an exhibition here.
I know, yes, I heard that.
Okay, so, you know, you're really doing his
Amazing.
work, and you're doing it in an entity that he had been a critical part of.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Let's
amazing.
go, let's go.
All right, yeah. So these are some images of this stuff now. But definitely going to let you just take a look at, this kind of gives you perspective of what your, the scale, and that's why I put these up. So you can actually see the scale before you actually look at them, how small they actually are. Okay, so now, let me start here.
So Obasana actually is the sequel to this gallery, but I love that it's on the edge of this bigger, so it makes sense that it has its own space. But, so the hair appointment and Obasana were done by, the original actual life-size shoots were done by a creative agency called Sunday School Creative. And they are a Canada and New York-based agency. Their owner and founder, Joseph Odamu, is a an incredibly talented, smart, young black man who was all about elevating the black experience, educating black folks and other folks, right? So it becomes an echo chamber if you're only educating black people. We're black people, but we want our community and we want people to know our community. And so his vision is, you don't just want to share all of this with people that get it, that are in the culture. You want to share it with people that don't go to museums to see black art, or that don't read black literature, or that don't understand that there's an experience that we're having that is rich and vital to this country. So he and I got really close, and I met him 4 years ago when I was working for a CEO for a company that featured, I don't know if it's VSCO, VSCO, if you Google it, they're basically a photography app. But they had an office in Oakland. I had never worked in Oakland, and I had never worked in an office with so many, frankly, up-and-coming, educated and vital black people. I've never worked in an office where there were more than 2 or 3 of us, and in this company there were 12 of us. Wow. So it blew my mind. Engineers, someone in the mailroom, someone that was an artist, someone that was doing copyright. It blew my mind. I got so close to this team. Well, Joseph Adamu and his agency had done some work that my CEO loved. So Hair Appointment, the photos that are in here, was the first project that he did. And then when he did Obasama, he had come to our company, and I started thinking about it, and I thought, this would be so cool in miniature. And he's like, what does that mean? What is miniature? So I was just showing him pictures of my work, and he said, all right, well, let's talk about it. Well, it took a whole year. He was traveling, and I left my job. A lot of things happened, and anyway, eventually, we did these 2 projects. So the first project is more, the thought behind it is that this is an actual art gallery that someone installed what looks like a salon at the back. But Obasama is meant to be a fully functioning hair salon that just happens to have up pictures that is someone's art gallery. So I sort of flipped it on its head. I wanted the details to be ridiculous. So from the outside, the ATM machine, the industrial light, the signage, the awning, which is a little damaged, and it was already looking a little old, but it got damaged in Miami Art Basel. It ended up in a warehouse for 6 weeks. So I thought I was going to replace it, but I thought that's part of this project's story, so I kept it. The traditional old parking meters, garbage. There's an apartment upstairs. You can't see the apartment, but you can see on this side that there are stairs leading to nowhere. So I love to think about the details of what, not just what's there, but what isn't there. And there's always supposed to be a moment that you're observing that someone was just in this room. In this case, dozens of people were in this room, and they all left. And we came in, and we came to see what they were doing.
Yeah. So, back up just a little. So, can you come closer and let our guests look at the gallery? And then you can still narrate.
Okay.
But I want them to look inside.
Yeah.
Well, I've been through it.
So the experience that you have in many, specifically we were focusing on African hair braiding salons, is that you have lots of seating, because a lot of people are often waiting for their appointment. That's where the magazines come in, and each magazine is handmade. So if I talk about what I made here, I made all of the mirrors, all of the little, anything that's paper, I actually made it. So I found the size, shrank it down, photographed it. One of my favorite things in this whole gallery is the little table that has all of the, what do you call it? There's a name for your personal care, PCP for COVID. So I made masks and the little hand sanitizer and the sign and the bleach wipes. And I love the detail. That's where I get lost. So you picture that a lot of people were in here getting their hair done. Someone was having coffee. Her little coffee cup is down there. They unpacked something, but it's busy, so they left the box open there. There's just all these moments, and I was obsessed with getting every detail. And at some point, there has to be some restraint, because at some point I have to say, okay, it's done. And it took me a week to get past, okay, it's done. So I let it sit, and then I left it, and I came back to it, and I added a few more details. So yeah, I tend to go a little over the edge with that stuff.
I love all the detail on there. I was just in a hair salon. So yeah, and the products are, the mirror and the products on the, on the little shelf there. That's like, wow, not just the mirror,
but all the stuff there, right? I wanted it to feel authentic and busy, and there were little things I'd love to point out, like there's a half-eaten banana on that little white unit there. And
I missed the banana.
because it's behind the plant.
Oh, yeah.
So it's really hard to see
Oh,
it, but it's there. And the little notepad with the pencil that Vita was talking about, if you look, do you see it? It's on this side. and it's close to that
That's a
plant
scavenger
at the
hunt.
end there.
And
Yeah,
is that
it
a,
is.
is that a
Love
burger
it.
that someone was gonna have their lunch?
Yes.
And then they
She
got
got
the soda?
interrupted. She was trying to have lunch, and then her 3 o'clock showed up a little early, so she put her burger down, and she's
Yeah.
getting ready to do somebody's
There's, oh,
hair.
I see the burger.
So that's what it is. It's these
And her
moments.
drink, oh my, and the pencil.
The pencil,
With
that's
the
the one.
Post-it.
That's the one that
Now
got
I
lost
see it.
yesterday, and I said, Vita, something's missing, and I found it, and I put it
Girl.
back. And in the back, like, on that back shelf, you see bottles of water, you see a box that someone's wrapping up, and there's some tape there.
The fire
The fire
extinguisher.
extinguisher, the little sign telling people that the
The
restrooms are for
calendar.
customers
The white
only.
thing?
Oh my God.
Okay.
Is that the Jamaican flag?
That's Ghana.
Ghana's flag, okay.
Okay.
I don't
On
know
the
my
right
flag.
towards
I know, I don't know
the
most
front
of them. I don't know most of them.
top of
Oh,
the
look at the tennis
Oh,
shoes
my
over
God, that's
there.
so
Yes, someone kicked off their Nikes.
Their Nikes and their
And their
purse.
purse. So that's the,
I
that's the
see.
thing, that the more you
It's
look
so
at, the more
tiny,
that
the
you
more
see.
you
And you can see there's a, what Vita was talking about, there's a coffee cup in the
Yeah, the coffee
garbage.
cup in the garbage can. Oh my God. And the little mirror. Is that the mirror? on the
Yeah.
mirror?
Okay, see the cinnamon?
Oh my gosh. And the pictures of the people on the
Right.
mirror
It's
with their, I'm
And in the
just,
middle,
I need my glasses to see their faces.
It's up here.
So your brain
On the
sees
mirror, look at the
life
mirror.
in miniature.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And everyone does not have that element in their.
No, you're right. I think it's a weird, unique thing. Do you know that the
something
garbage
pink and
cans
white,
are actually tops of my hair product? So it occurred to me that they were the right scale. So then the little plastic bag that's inside the garbage can is plastic latex gloves. So I cut off the fingers on my gloves and I just stuck it in there. And I thought that looks like a life-size garbage can. But
So
that's,
you just use whatever items that are available.
oh yeah, some things are
And
custom
you
made, some things I just
recreate
yeah.
them.
It's really fun. It's really fun. So the hair appointment, as you can see, is a much simpler version of Obasama, and it was meant to showcase the art, the photographs, much more than the actual salon experience. But there's a little hand sanitizing station right there when you first come in, so you can sanitize your hands.
I like that you can go to your ATM machine too.
That's right.
yeah,
Before or
what's
after, either before, because you have to pay, and a lot of times they don't want your credit card, they want your cash. Or after, because you spent all your money and now you need to get some money so you can get lunch.
And I like the black garbage bags next to the recycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And water bottle
Oh,
too.
the water bottle, somebody, because the garbage is full.
Right, like, well, I gotta put it somewhere, right?
Like out there on the side.
And your sandwich board outside.
That's the intercom and the thing, the person to get them to the.
Oh,
to the-
Oh, absolutely. And the no soliciting sign.
No
'cause nobody
soliciting
wants
on
you to
the
knock on their
Okay,
door.
now I gotta really see the CR.
Look at Vanessa.
No soliciting on the door. No soliciting, the sign.
Yeah, yeah.
You got right
You
there.
in those heels, careful.
I told her plug this up, so the other lady tripped up.
So it's a little tricky to get to the one in the corner, but I want to talk about We Matter because this is my very dear friend, who I'm so proud of, Adrian Octavius Walker. So We Matter kind of put his photography on the map in a big way, and I think it did get people to pay attention, especially when that particular photograph of this beautiful black man with his beautiful African features and that silky green do-rag won the Outwin Booker Award at the Smithsonian for one of the best portraits in 2019. He won $10,000, he got invited to Washington, and he got to present that photo. And we were just so emotional, it was just really incredible. So this gallery was made after the very first one, but we'll talk about that when we get in there, but I wanted it to feel.
That's everyday culture.
That's right. Yes. That's right. And again, the idea that he wanted it to be something that people could experience without fear, with an open mind, educate people, help them understand that you don't have to be afraid of someone because they're black. And you certainly don't have to be afraid of them because they choose to honor that history and honor their person with a certain look. Like, don't decide that they're less than or that they're dangerous because of that. So I think that this is powerful photography that is beautiful. And I was so honored to put it in a gallery. And when he saw it, he lost it. It was really wonderful for me.
Point out the do-rag.
Oh, yeah, so I glued my fingers together several times.
Doing the do-rag.
And if you go to adrianoctaviuswalker.com and you look up We Matter, you'll see how true to life all of this is. So those crates and the do-rags and the little piece of cardboard, like that's real. That's what he had during the show, he actually had that set up. And there are a lot of photographs with, I think there's one on this wall, of the crates.
Oh, the crates, yeah.
And I was using super glue, and at least 3 or 4 times I stuck my fingers together.
Oh, I've
And I
done
had to
that
have my
countless. No
daughter
wonder
put
we have prints
Nail
left,
polish, oh
you
yeah,
know.
my nails are atrocious. So yeah, so this is We Matter, and we'll have some fun surprises for this
Amazing.
Yes.
on next week, because we're still putting it all
Oh,
together.
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yes, we don't wanna show everything.
No, we
Yeah.
wanted something left, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, it's gonna be amazing.
That's just-
So this, and this is one of the newer pieces, so it's kind of funny to juxtapose one of the first galleries I did with one of the last galleries I did. So I completed this gallery about a month ago, and this, a very talented woman is Poochie Collins. She is a New Yorker, and she focuses on storytelling to sort of help heal and to help people get a tangible feel for Black culture. And I love her. To me, it's all about movement. Even the gentleman that's sitting perfectly still, he's on a train, right? So even though he's not moving, the train is moving.
Yes.
And I love this mom playing with her little boy. These images really spoke to me. And with each of these artists, I asked them to share some of their best work with me, the work that they were the most proud of, and they said they would do that, and then they said, feel free to pick the ones that speak to you. So that's what I ended up creating a show with their best work that then I decided which ones I wanted to be part of the gallery.
Is that marble flooring?
It is actually, yeah, it's not real marble, it's actually a paper that I printed that looks like marble, yeah. So it's really cool what's available.
Goodness.
Right, that's
Because I
why-
was gonna say, oh my God.
Oh yeah, it would be very heavy if it were real
looks just
marble.
like
And Poochie loves mid-century modern, so when I asked her what style she wanted her gallery to be, and she told me that, I did a little research, I did a lot of research actually, and I combined a feeling that I found from a couple of actual houses and not businesses, because I love to do that. I want it to feel like it's not something that you've seen, but it's familiar. So I kind of made the doorway look more like, maybe it's a business, but this is more like a home. And the signage that I wanted, well, it's her art statement, which I think is actually gonna be large as well, but I wanted to put it there, and I think it's a fun space to explore.
It's just beautiful. And the camera, the security camera.
And that's an old school security camera.
And the stairs look like stone.
Yeah,
It's
they're
just-
supposed to look
What
like
about those
polished marble.
benches? She handmade
I
the benches.
No, I
know.
didn't hand make the benches.
You didn't have,
I mean, I painted them, but I
You
actually
painted
them?
I had
Yeah.
them 3D printed.
3D printed.
3D
And then
printed,
I had
and
to
then you painted
painstakingly
them?
paint them, yeah.
Do you have
painted
your
those?
own 3D
I
printer?
don't, and the only reason I don't, they've gotten really affordable, but I don't have a place for it, because I don't
Yeah.
have a studio, I'm working on that.
Oh, you gotta get
My
that.
studio is my kitchen, my living room, wherever people aren't is where I have things.
That's what I'm talking about.
that's what true artists are.
You know, James has a 3D printer.
Yeah, my son-in-law does
Really?
too.
I need to get one.
Yeah, it's
what it was.
amazing.
So this one's all the way over in the corner, and I'll let you over there, because I know what it is. So another female photographer whose work I recently featured, and this is Idara Ekpo, and Idara is actually Nigerian, first generation Nigerian American. And she's incredibly gifted. I love that a lot of these women choose to take photos of women, and I think that there's power there.
texture there and the contrasting.
Yeah, her photos are beautiful. They're really gorgeous. And we talked about flooring and what did they want, and she couldn't decide if she wanted polished concrete floors or hardwood floors, so I gave her a combination of the two. And gray is my favorite neutral. People think of gray, they think of beige as being a neutral color, but gray, especially for art, is like, it just sort of flattens everything out and lets you see the art. So I painstakingly
I love that.
put those floors together, and I built those benches. So those are built by hand. The
Wow.
seat is walnut, and then the hard part, the bigger part is just a hardwood. I think it's birch.
So where is is she located? Is she,
She's in Arizona.
oh, Arizona?
Yeah, she's in Phoenix.
Yeah, there are quite a few Nigerians in
Are
Arizona.
there?
They're starting to discover Arizona.
Cheaper than California.
Yeah, no kidding, right? So then Mortal Man is another one of Adrian's projects that really touched me. This gentleman who, you know, homeless and really struggling with life, and he has these quilts that I think they're so meaningful, and they're a metaphor. They're the texture of his life, and takes him back to security and youth. And they did this photo shoot around Oakland about 3 years ago. And this show was actually featured at the MOAD a few years ago. And I told Adrian, I said, I want to do it in miniature. And he said, go for it. So I did. And I love, again, gray floor,
Yes.
keep it so that you're really looking at the photographs.
And they
And I
really
made
pop.
that bench also, that base is actually, people don't know, black and white, onyx.
Oh,
it's
that's right,
so
that's the one
cool.
you made. I
Oh,
know
Yeah,
which one.
and I made the two in there
And you
too.
made those, yeah.
Wow, beautiful, just beautiful.
And we have one that's missing here, that you'll all see on Saturday.
Surprise, surprise.
And then if we head in there, that gallery was actually the very first gallery I did. And I call it the AOW Premier Gallery. And I wanted it to feel like a small gallery experience where you actually come in and there's a desk there and someone's like, oh, forget signing a book now, it's sign the iPad and we take credit cards and here are the brochures about the show and welcome. No, you can't go back there. It's cordoned off because that's
Yeah,
the
stanchion
that's the
right
private,
there.
stanchion pole. And that has a more modern security camera.
Yeah.
And Adrian does portraiture that is exquisite. I think his portraits, and again, it's about that elevating and the Black experience and telling the story. So everything from someone who's living a very ordinary life to this incredibly gifted woman who plays the bass. He gets close and wants to tell us about Black culture and Black people, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And this floor is actually a piece of stone, so this one's heavier than some of the others. And again, the same with me. I couldn't do it once, so I made another crate and thing with the durags and had my fingers stuck together for almost a day.
Oh, and the little strings from the do-rag, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then that one over there was sort of a very special project for me. During my senior year at Parsons, I was 19, I was 21. Oh, sorry. And that is what my studio/bedroom looked like. You can't see the bedroom side because that would be over here, but that was the side where it was chaos. It was my projects, it was all the art books I was trying to sell, and with the exception of the chair, which was made from a kit, the bookcases, which were made from kits, the Sony Walkman against the wall, and a couple of things I can't think of at the moment, everything in this room was handmade by me.
Oh my God.
And that took about 4 months.
Jeez, I can believe it. Including the pins and pencils.
Oh yeah, everything was made by me.
God, and the hanger
Oh, I
on
know,
the
the
door.
Tammy mug on the very top, I didn't make that. A friend of mine actually
Tammy
got
mug?
that,
There's a
yeah.
mug in- I
Oh,
didn't
the
see
mug with
mug.
paint
Yeah.
brushes in
Yeah,
it?
but it's spelled with a Y, and the joke was
Oh.
that people always spelled my name with a Y, and my mother didn't do that, so it's not spelled with a Y. And the funny thing is, this got dropped recently and it broke, and it hadn't been opened in 30 years, but now it opens because
Oh my.
it got broken. But I'm so happy because I hadn't been able to get close to it without glare.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you can see that side, there's an
Air conditioning.
air conditioner with pigeons on it because
Pigeons.
they were often
They were
out there.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
Air
gosh. Look at that.
And you did the not blinds. It was like
The
drapes.
shades.
The shades.
Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
I
I'm
made
thinking
the
about.
shades.
Wow.
Raisin Bran was one of my favorite things, so I have
Snoopy
my
out
Raisin Bran.
shoes.
Snoopy slippers, I have my
Oh my
Snoopy slippers.
goodness.
So this was my real space, and I'm bummed that I used to have photos of it to show people, but somehow my little photo book got lost.
Oh.
And at the time, there were no digital photos, so I don't have copies of them. I
Good
just don't
thing
have
you
them.
have this.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter loves it.
Oh my goodness. And the roll of tape on the chair.
Oh, yeah. The more you look, the more you'll see. There's just so much stuff
So
in
much
there.
to see.
Wow.
Oh my God. Look, cans of paint. Oh.
Are those little balls, little like stick pins? The little
No, they're styrofoam. They're a little too
They're
big.
like-
They're out of scale. Because at the time I just couldn't find any, so I just got those. But they're supposed to be like packing.
Oh,
Oh,
bubble
yeah.
tape.
Yeah.
I
Little
know what you
balls.
mean. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's really good. They do make them that big too. They come in very sizes, so you're good.
Thank you, Karen. Oh,
Oh, look at the chairs.
There's so much in there, it's just like, every time I look at it, I see something different that I hadn't seen before.
Is that a bowl of cereal?
yes, Raisin Bran. So I
Okay.
used to eat Raisin Bran
Oh,
all the
okay.
time. It was like my favorite cereal, so I had to put it in there.
Oh my God. Oh, and your portfolio with the zipper.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Sorry.
God.
That's all right.
You know, so it's just, when it's completed, it's, well, I'm glad you're not gonna be there, at least you got to see.
She won't be for the opening, but she'll come back.
But you come back
While
and
it's
say,
still here.
while it's still here, but
She's only 33 years.
Yeah, a long time.
I'm Bobby. I'm down in your room.
It's okay, Karen.
Yeah, I'm forgive me.
Yeah, it's spectacular, so I'm really excited to bring her pictures here, you know, I think. people
I'm
will
making
love it.
sure I'm bringing my grandchildren,
Aw.
nieces and
We're hoping to have it
nephews.
up for several months.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
so
cause
hopefully
this
we'll-
is, cause I come from a family of artists, so I want them,
Yeah.
at least the ones that are close by to
Oh.
come.
Thank you.
This is just amazing. Feel so elated, over the moon.
Overwhelmed.
Oh.
Those are real
Okay.
magazines. And, you know,
And you know Junior's gonna love this, 'cause I always. I'm like, he's gonna say, Seymour.
I know, exactly.
Look at the door, that's a glass, that's a door.
yes, yes. So we're not finished with this one, so, we're not finished with, so, we're gonna, yeah,
The kids are born here,
I know they are.
but I had it outside.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad it came together. Jenny said, I wanna be there, I wanna meet the board, I wanna meet them.
This was amazing, Peter. That was a brilliant idea.
That's something to tell you about. You're gonna put a miniature business card.
Thank you, I should put some, okay. Thank you, ladies, it'll be in there.
At the
Basic.
basic.
And
Is it not in that scavenger hunt?
then they get your business card. So you have to show your work to people.
Whatever you do is gonna be.
Thank you very much.
Don't say that shit. Y'all have to fill in your name.